Hello, matey.
How are you?
Wow, breathless.
What a game.
Actually, breathless.
What a game.
After that.
That's proper football, that one.
I mean, that was stellar. That was two top teams, two contrasting styles, yet both getting the better of one another at different times of the game. 2-0 up away from home Inter. They think they're in the box seat, and they were. Barca at half-time, going at 2-2. You feel as though all of a sudden they're now in the ascendancy. No. That's not how it's going to play out. Inter get a goal, Barca get a goal, 3-3. Could have gone either way. Could have been 4-3 to either side. Just a brilliant game of top class, top quality football, and played at a level that, you know, this is what the Champions League's about. This is why
it's what the Premier League hasn't delivered this season, isn't it?
The Premier League's not delivered this season, and I'm not sure it will. And I don't know what game I look back on, and it's the last 2 seasons, maybe 3. I mean, fans will be able to tell me, but you know, when have we seen games like this? This is what I've been talking about all season. These type of games, the Premier League has got to deliver. And you know, people always say, "Show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake," right? And of course, when you get 6 goals in a game, you go, the defending must be poor, right? And there's an element of that. But what you're also seeing are 2 teams tactically set up to both, one, not to concede, both didn't do that, both to get on the other end of the pitch and score goals and affect the game.
Breathtaking, end to end.
It is breathtaking.
Pair of them.
And do you know what, Jay, right? I think the Premier League needs to be very, very careful here, because I've said for a while, as far as I'm aware, I was the first person to say it, although a lot of people have followed suit, that the Premier League is a bit meh. It's a little bit dull. It's not great. I've called Liverpool a little bit dull, and I got completely castigated for it. And it's fine. People have their own opinion. And this is not a slight on Liverpool, but the Premier League, I think, needs to be very careful about what happens over the next 12 to 24 months, about the next 2 seasons, because we've seen the last 6 teams come up, get relegated comfortably. Yeah. The gap is becoming wider, it would appear. Obviously, the financial side of it is becoming wider and wider. People look at a financial fair play. That's another reason. I actually think that when you look at what we saw last night with Arsenal against PSG, that the gap was wider than the scoreline suggests. And tonight's game, that's why I paid my subscription fee. That's why I pay to watch football.
Yeah.
Super Sunday on a Sky. When was the last time we really saw a Super Sunday? That is Super Sunday. You don't get that on Super Sunday anymore. You don't get those games, mate. And they'll bill it a Super Sunday, and, you know, it's never Super Sunday, not every game, but there used to be a time where I'd sit down in front of the TV on a Sunday with Chelsea weren't playing, or whatever happens, right? Or on a Saturday or 12:30. I don't get those games, mate. You don't get them. You don't get those top class opposition going against top class opposition. Yeah. Tactically set up, finding frailties in the opposition, exploiting those frailties, and the other end of the pitch, you then get them exploiting those. But then it could go either way or the other. I mean, you're talking the elite of the elite. Yeah. Right?
You want to watch that week in, week out, don't you?
Well, here's the problem the Premier League has got. We don't get, and we've never really got that. But what we used to have is a competitive league, and the league at the moment, it's not competitive enough. And I don't care what Liverpool fans think, quite frankly. But the truth is, they've won it at a canter, and well done them. They're the best side. The truth is, in behind them, there is nothing competitive at the moment challenging. Now we might see City come back to where they were. I expect something similar. I expect United, Chelsea, Spurs, all those other big dogs to be better next season, right? Ain't Liverpool's fault. But the problem we're going to have, I think, potentially, is that we're going to get into a pattern. And I'm concerned that the 3 teams coming up right now, Burnley, Leeds, well done them, that the competitive edge that the Premier League has always had is now the gap is becoming wider. And now the teams are going to never happened before in Premier League history. With 4 games to go, we know the Premier League champions. It's never happened before in Premier League history, and we know the 3 teams going down. Never happened in Premier League history before. And I hope I'm wrong, But I feel there's a pattern emerging, certainly at the bottom. At the top, things can change very quickly. Liverpool regained a position of strength from kind of nowhere, really, because the rest of them are a little bit, but well done them. I just looking at that tonight, mate, I'm just wondering whether the Premier League, is it now in danger of that Super League conversation becoming louder and louder?
Super League?
Yeah, the Super League.
You want to bring back the Super League?
Well, after that tonight, the conversation's going to get louder, mate. The conversation will get louder because what you saw tonight, and even what we saw last night, right? Arsenal, they weren't at their best. PSG, the best side I've seen this season. It's only 1-0. They beat Liverpool 1-0. Liverpool beat them 1-0 away from home. I just feel that I just wonder whether we're approaching a bit of...
Do you think that people would maybe change their opinion on the Super League after watching Champions League football like what we're seeing now?
Well, me personally...
And the Premier League this season?
Well, me personally, I think that I'm looking at the bigger picture and I'm looking at through a wider lens because I want the best of the best. And I'm looking at Barcelona take on Inter Milan. I mean, that's that. You don't get that on Super League. I don't care what anyone says.
Super Sunday.
Super Sunday. Sorry, my fault. Super Sunday. You don't get that on Super Sunday. And I don't know, mate. I'm just a bit concerned at where we are as a Premier League at the moment. Everyone says we're the best league in the world, right? I ain't seen evidence of that at the moment. I'm not seeing genuine evidence that we are the best league in the world. Over years gone by, I'll stand up and have that argument with someone, but at the moment, no, I don't think I'm seeing it. So the two teams that are in the semi-final of the Europa League, their worst performance in Premier League history, Man United and Spurs. Yet they're in. I don't know what that says about that side of Europe, but let me tell you now, it ain't good enough from us. It ain't good enough from us.
The elite level football that we've seen in the Champions League this season has been elite. They're the games you want to watch, and you're right. We've not been. You know, the Premier League hasn't brought too many amazing games this season, but I mean the Super League's a big shout.
I know, but then you drop out that Super League. That's why you've got Spurs and Man United.
Because you remember when that Super League come in, everyone had a massive stink about it. There was a lot of clubs who wanted to do it.
I understand that, Jay. I get that.
There was a big old stink over it.
Right, okay. You can't stop progress, right? The Super League is going to come. It's coming. It doesn't matter whether it comes in your lifetime, my lifetime, whenever. It's going to happen. And maybe what they've seen with the change of the Champions League, the group stage, a lot of people like. I've got to say, I'm a bit nonplussed by it. Yeah, I've not enjoyed it. I think there have been some games that have been interesting. Certainly the latter stage where PSG could have gone out, City could have gone out. They both get through. PSG, look, they got half a foot in the final. But I'm looking at that tonight and I'm wondering whether. I just want to know what football fans in this country feel about the Premier League and about watching that tonight, if they watched it, across Europe, about the biggest and the best teams. Everyone wants the biggest and the best. I don't know whether the Champions League is going to deliver what we eventually crave. We want the best against the best, not just every other 2 or 3 weeks or every other month or when it happens to come back. I just think tonight's football, and there's so much more to come. I'm not convinced, mate, that the Premier League's got an issue. That the point I'm making is the Premier League has got a bit of a problem. You cannot have the next 3 teams coming up next season. Leeds, congratulations. Burnley, congratulations. Whoever joins them via the playoffs, congratulations. If they come back down again and there's a little bit of a poor scrap at the top, I want to see 3 or 4 teams. It never happens.
Well, you'd see it in the Super League, that's for sure.
I just wonder whether... I don't know, mate. I'm open to the idea of the conversation of the Super League. I'm genuinely open to the idea and the conversation of a Super League. I don't know what it looks like because there's so many different ways of looking at the structure of the league. How many teams has Germany got, Spain got, Italy got, France got, Portugal got, England got, all the other nations. I don't know what that looks like. But I've got to tell you, mate, tonight watching that, give me that every day of the week than watching Liverpool play against Brighton.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.